The story of Prophet Moses, in the dusty annals of the Bible, a tale of courage, miracles, and divine destiny unfolds with the life of Moses, a man whose name reverberates through history as a beacon of liberation and faith. Though not always called a prophet in every verse, his role as God's chosen deliverer carries a prophetic weight, guiding the Israelites from the chains of slavery to the promised land of freedom. Set against the backdrop of ancient Egypt's grandeur and the wilderness's harsh beauty, Moses' story is a thrilling saga of divine encounters, epic confrontations, and unwavering trust. Prepare to be swept away on a journey through plagues, parted seas, and the giving of the law as we dive into the extraordinary life of this legendary figure. A humble birth in a time of peril. In the land of Egypt, where the Nile's waters glistened under a tyrant's rule, a shadow of danger loomed over the Hebrew people. The Pharaoh, fearing their growing numbers, decreed that every male Hebrew child be thrown into the river, a chilling edict that turned the cradle into a battleground. Amid this terror, a Levite woman gave birth to a son, her heart pounding with both love and fear. Hiding him for 3 months, she crafted a papyrus basket, sealed it with pitch, and placed her precious baby among the reeds along the Nile, entrusting him to God's care. His sister Miriam watched from afar as Pharaoh's daughter discovered the crying child, her compassion overriding her father's command. Naming him Moses because I drew him out of the water, she raised him as her own in the royal palace where the future deliverer grew up amid splendor, unaware of the destiny simmering in his blood. A prince turned fugitive years later as a young man, Moses walked the streets of Egypt, his heart torn between two worlds. One day, witnessing an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave, his righteous anger flared. In a moment of impulse, he struck the Egyptian dead and hid the body in the sand, a secret act that would change his life. When Pharaoh learned of it, Moses fled for his life, escaping into the wilderness of Midian, a land of rugged hills and nomadic tribes. There, by a well, he defended the daughters of a priest named Jethro, earning their gratitude and a home. He married Zipporah, one of the sisters, and settled into a quiet life as a shepherd tending flocks under the vast sky. Yet the cries of his people reached God's ears, and Moses' exile was merely the prelude to a greater calling, his heart unknowingly prepared for a divine summons. The burning bush and a reluctant call. One day, while tending Jethro's sheep on Mount Horeb, Moses stumbled upon a sight that would ignite his destiny, a bush ablaze yet unconsumed by fire. As he approached, God's voice thundered from the flames, "Moses, Moses," declaring the ground holy. God revealed himself as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, announcing, "I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and I have come down to deliver them." God commissioned Moses to confront Pharaoh and lead the Israelites to a land flowing with milk and honey. Overwhelmed, Moses protested, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh?" and feared the people wouldn't believe him. God equipped him with signs, a staff turning into a serpent, a hand made leprous then healed, and promised Aaron as his spokesman. Though reluctant, Moses' heart began to stir. The shepherd's staff now a symbol of divine authority, the clash with Pharaoh and the plagues. Returning to Egypt, Moses and Aaron stood before Pharaoh, demanding, "Let my people go, that they may hold a feast to me in the wilderness." But Pharaoh's heart hardened, and he increased the Hebrews' labor, mocking their God. Thus began a dramatic showdown, a battle of wills between the Creator and the King. God unleashed 10 plagues, each a spectacle of divine power. The Nile turned to blood, frogs swarmed the land, gnats and flies tormented the people, livestock died, boils erupted on skin, hail mixed with fire rained down, locusts devoured crops, darkness blanketed Egypt for 3 days, and finally, the death of the firstborn struck every household not marked by lamb's blood. Each plague escalated, Pharaoh's resistance crumbling, until the night of Passover, when the Israelites' obedience spared them, and Egypt's grief forced his hand to release them, a triumphant exodus born from divine wrath and mercy, the miraculous crossing of the Red Sea. With Pharaoh's permission, the Israelites, over 600,000 men plus women and children, set out, guided by a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. But Pharaoh's heart hardened again, and he pursued them with chariots to the Red Sea's edge. Trapped between the sea and the advancing army, the people panicked, crying out to Moses, and daunted, Moses raised his staff, and God parted the waters, creating a dry path through the sea, walls of water towering on either side. With faith and awe, the Israelites crossed, their footsteps echoing on the seabed. As Pharaoh's army followed, the waters crashed down, swallowing chariots and soldiers, a dramatic deliverance that left the people singing praises to God. Moses stood as their leader, his staff a scepter of miracles. The sea a testament to divine protection, the law given on Sinai. 3 months later, the Israelites camped at Mount Sinai, where thunder rumbled and lightning split the sky. God called Moses to the mountain's peak, enveloped in smoke and fire, to receive the law. Amid the trembling earth, God spoke the 10 Commandments, etching them into stone tablets. You shall have no other gods before me, honor your father and mother, and more, a covenant to guide a nation. The people, awestruck, promised obedience, and Moses ascended again, staying 40 days and nights, receiving detailed instructions for worship and life. This sacred encounter transformed Moses into a lawgiver, his face glowing with God's glory, a sign of his intimate communion with the divine, laying the foundation for Israel's identity. The golden calf and Moses' intercession. While Moses lingered on Sinai, the people grew restless, crafting a golden calf to worship, a betrayal that ignited God's anger. Descending with the tablets, Moses shattered them in fury, confronting Aaron and the idolaters. His plea to God spared the nation from destruction, his intercession a bridge between divine wrath and mercy. God renewed the covenant, and Moses, seeking reassurance, asked to see God's glory. Hidden in a cleft of rock, he glimpsed God's back, his face radiating divine light thereafter, a symbol of restored relationship. This trial tested Moses' leadership, his faith deepening as he mediated for a wayward people. The wilderness wanderings and final days. For 40 years, Moses led the Israelites through the wilderness. Facing hunger, thirst, and rebellion, God provided manna from heaven and water from a rock struck by Moses' staff, miracles sustaining them. Yet, at Meribah, Moses' frustration led him to strike the rock twice instead of speaking, disobeying God. A lapse that barred him from the promised land. On Mount Nebo, God showed him Canaan's beauty, promising it to his people. Moses died there at 120, his eyes dimmed, his strength intact, and God buried him in an unknown grave. His legacy endured, a prophet like no other, whose faith and obedience shaped a nation. The legacy of Moses' faith. Though Moses' journey ended short of Canaan, his story resonates as a prophetic legacy of faith and deliverance. His courage to confront Pharaoh, his miracles parting seas and providing food, and his intercession for a rebellious people mark him as God's chosen leader. The law he received on Sinai became the backbone of Israelite society, prefiguring the moral code of humanity. His life teaches trust in God's timing, the power of obedience, and the promise of redemption, a narrative that foreshadows Christ's ultimate liberation. From Egypt's slavery to the wilderness's hope, Moses' tale invites us to walk in faith, trusting in a divine plan that turns trials into triumph.